Hey guys, so I want to come on here and talk about this story, and this is a story that's trending, and it's a typical story. It's one that we've heard before, and it's in regards to a white teacher doing what they do both best, which is using slavery to target, and humiliate, and demean Black children. Um, I put a lot of this on the parents at this point. And I'm going to tell you guys why after I play this video. I'm going to tell you guys why I put this on the parents. Again, white people are going to be who they are. Their psyche, their mentality is not going to change. I don't know why Black people are trusting the same people who they believe are trying to destroy them to educate their children. I don't understand that, but that is something that Black people feel like is beneficial to them. At some point, we're going to have to acknowledge the fact that our mentality, our ways, it's contributing to this and helping to maintain it. And look, we all know about all of the systemic oppression. We all know about the psychological torture. We know about the conditioning at this point. At what point do you stop talking about the conditioning and do stuff to reverse it? Because the dominant society hasn't done anything to really garner the trust of Black people. They've only given Black people reasons to doubt them and want to separate from them, and yet they don't. So at this point, we need to start questioning the evil that is in Black people where they think that this is okay. Now, I'm going to get to this video, and then we'll read more into the article.
A lesson on slavery has turned into a lesson on racism. A Bronx teacher landing in hot water for what she allegedly did to children during an assignment on the slave trade. This controversy happening at middle school 118. News 4's Wale Aliyu is at that school with major reaction. Wale.
Well, absolutely. These parents out here are stunned. The school is responding. We saw several extra counselors on hand today ready to address any questions some of the students may have. These allegations surround 7th grade teacher Patricia Cummings. Cummings has been removed from the classroom after a very controversial lesson last month. Students tell us that Mrs. Cummings teaches a lesson on slavery every year. They say Cummings, who is white, picked several students and had them lie down on the floor and even stepped on one of their backs to demonstrate slavery. Right after the class came up to you?
Yeah, he was like, this teacher just stepped on my back and asked me, how does it feel to be in like a slave? And it's wrong. But what he did was he told me he just left it be because he thought he was part of the lesson.
I didn't believe that somebody would do that to a child. Because how are they supposed to understand if, like, what does stepping on somebody have to do with slavery?
Let me just pause this right here because I'm getting real irritated with I'm getting past the point of irked with Black people's mentality. Where has she been where she's sitting here talking about who would do that? Let me finish this news clip.
Another Department of Education sent letters home to parents today and released this statement to us saying, while the investigation has not been completed, these are deeply disturbing allegations, and the alleged behavior has no place in our school or in society. The Department of Education tells us Cummings has been a teacher here since 2016 and has no prior disciplinary issues. In fact, several of the students we talked to say, listen, Mrs. Cummings is one of our favorite teachers, and they say they are very disappointed at these allegations. For now, it's very latest here in the Bronx. Wale Aliyu, News 4 New York.
Now, I want you guys to understand why I say Black people are to blame for this, okay? You've been living in a system of white supremacy for over 500 years, okay? These people haven't changed their mentality. They haven't changed their behavior. They change absolutely nothing. On a daily basis, they show how much they hate and despise Black people. They work overtime, continuously deceiving you. We are in the information age now. Why is it that Black people are the only people who seemingly do not learn as time go by? It's like Black people are just existing. They're not using their brain, using no critical thinking skills, running around acting confused. There shouldn't be a Black person on the face of this earth that sits up there and says, who would do this to a child? You're Black and you're saying that a white person's actions, which is racially degrading your child, which they've done worse throughout history. They're still doing worse. And you have a Black woman in here saying that she can't believe it with her fake eyelashes on. Okay? Another reason why this is on Black people, because why are Black people still letting them teach their children slavery? So you have control as a Black person to determine what they do and do not teach your child. For example, my sister went up to my nephew's school and said, don't teach him slavery. They don't teach him slavery. Not only are Black people allowing them to teach them slavery, you have emboldened them to the degree that they feel like it's okay to walk on your child's back. They could have snapped your kid's spine, but you're fine with that. Why haven't Black people who have children in school written to the Department of Education and said, don't teach my child slavery unless you're going to teach it by way of Hidden Colors? Don't teach my child slavery unless you're going to give them an in-depth, detailed version of the Dark Ages. Don't teach my child slavery unless you're going to teach my child all of the atrocities that white people did. You're not going to decorate it. You're going to give it to it real. You're going to talk about the rapes. You're going to talk about the skinning alive. You're going to talk about all the inventions that Black people created. You're not going to selectively teach my child inferiority. Black people are allowing the system of white supremacy to treat them any way they can, any way they want to, because they have zero self-esteem, no pride, no self-value. There is a reason why this isn't happening to other groups of people. It does not happen to other groups of people. When are Black people going to start looking at the fact that all these things are only happening to you? It doesn't matter if your everyday internet troll gets on there and say, well, other people went through what Black people went through. Are you really that dense that you're going to, and naive, you're going to allow them to keep deceiving you and telling you that somebody else went through what you went through when you already know you're the only group of people going through it? And you know that because you're only group of people allowing it. Other groups of people wouldn't allow this. And then the fact that they had that Black newscaster sit up there and decorate this officer is disgusting. Again, Black people are the main problem, okay? Because again, people can only do to you what you allow them to do. At any point in time, if Black people had the pride, the self-esteem, the self-love, and the mental wherewithal to understand that this group of people is never gonna change, have no incentive to change, it is their nature, they cannot change. Why are you trusting them to teach your kids anyway? And then Black people sit around and act like there's nothing they could do about this, and they can. It says, student, this is the teacher, by the way. And I guarantee you would have Black men praising her. I don't even know why I'm even up here talking about this. At this point, Black people like white supremacy. They like being subjugated. I understand, and I get that now. Students at a middle school in the Bronx say their white history teacher went too far when she had 3 Black classmates lie down on the floor and then stepped on their backs during a lesson on slavery. Again, why are you letting them teach your kids slavery? Patricia Cummings, a teacher at the predominantly Black and Hispanic Bronx Middle School 118, reportedly carried out the unconventional demonstration 2 weeks ago while discussing the infamous Middle Passage, the forced voyage of African captives across the Atlantic Ocean to America as part of the global slave trade. Now, they shouldn't even be talking about slavery unless they talk about the Dark Ages first. The Dark Ages was a 1,000-year period that happened prior to slavery. So why are you guys even allowing them? Look, I don't have a child, but the minute that I do have a child, my child will either be homeschooled or they will not be being taught slavery. You're not about to teach my kid that. The slave ships were notoriously cramped, filthy, and riddled with diseases, and a high percentage of the enslaved people died en route to the New World. Students told the New York Daily News that Cummings, who had been at the school for less than 2 years, singled out 3 Black children and instructed them to stretch out on the floor in front of the class. And I bet you the parents are not going to sue this entire school and the Board of Education. Understand that I would dedicate my life to destroying them financially had they done this to my child. You just wouldn't hear the story in here. They would say, oh, and she's dedicated her life to suing. None of the employees at this school are employed anymore. School doesn't exist because she bankrupted it. It said incident took place at Bronx Middle School where more than 80% of the student body is Black and Hispanic. I promise you she wouldn't be doing this at a white school to white students. She then reportedly asked the trio, "You see how it is to be a slave, how does it feel?" So she's psychologically damaging people's children, and what are the parents doing about this? According to the student, when one of the children said she felt fine, Cummings allegedly put her feet on the girl's back and inquired again, "How does it feel? See how it feels to be a slave?" And why are you guys, parents, allowing your kids to even engage in this? Cummings was temporarily removed from the classroom but returned to school on Thursday morning, only to be reassigned away from students later in the day, according to the Daily News. Again, Black people will continue going through this because you'll continue to tolerate it. The New York City Department of Education has launched an investigation into Cummings' conduct. An investigation should not suffice. Every Black parent should be down there demanding them in groves to get this teacher out of here. Strip away her teacher licenses, never to be taught teaching another person in history. She should have to completely switch up her career because she should not be able to teach. And if Black people were smart, they would do that. While the investigation has not been completed, look, I wouldn't care anything about the Department of Education, basically. And like, I'm just not going to. But this is on Black people. And we need to stop sitting up here making excuse saying, "Oh, white supremacy, oh, white supremacy." Well, what are you doing about white supremacy, though? Because you know it's around. Are you defending it? Are you advocating for dating them? Are you saying love is love? Which, by the way, this is the very type of woman that Tariq set up in his video and said that Black men should date the product of. Never mind the fact that she's clearly a white supremacist. Oh, but she'll be considered by a lot of men as high class, a white woman. So all she has to do is go have sex with a Black man. Yep, Black man, go date her daughter. This is what y'all advocate for. And he's not the only one suggesting that, because conscious or not, there isn't many Black men who actually denounce dating these women. They will sit here and complain about mass incarceration, school to prison pipeline, sexual assaults, all of which white women contribute to. White women are the #1 cause of the school to prison pipeline, and yet no Black men would advocate for dating them, though. You will still advocate for dating them. They raise these white supremacist males that you complain about, but yep, just go get you an upscale white woman. No Black person should be trusting them. There's so many different things Black people could do, but they refuse. It's irking to me because at this point, Black people do not want liberation. You don't want it. That's just the reality of it. You're not going to have a savior. If you think that God is then looking down at your actions and your acceptance of this evil, because if you really believed in God, you wouldn't be so accepting of this evil, because you would have to know that God wouldn't be accepting of this evil. That's just the reality of what it is. But obviously at this point, there's an evil in Black people to where they just want to love the evil. They want to accept it, lay up with it, marry it, produce children with it. So what's different about you than them when you're so attracted to it? That's what they need to be asking themselves. No way should you be allowing. Keep in mind, you asked for this. When you asked for integration, you said you wanted to be in a school with white teachers. Well, now you're in one, and now your kids' backs are getting walked on, and they're being told to feel like a slave because y'all wanted integration. This is what Black people wanted. They died for integration so these type of white supremacists could mold the minds of their children. Self-hate motivates Black people. Self-hate drives Black people because they so badly want this acceptance from this demonic group of people. I don't understand it. But y'all let me know, though, because this whole story has irked me, and I don't even want to talk about this anymore, because I'm just saying this wouldn't be my child. It sure wouldn't. And y'all wonder why coons keep being produced. Let me know what you guys think. Thank you for your support. I'll see you in the next one.